My dog is licking my toes.
I hit it, right?
My dog is licking my toes. What's up? What's up, everybody? We're waiting for Nick Valle to come on and talk to me about his career, about his amazing songwriting. This guy is the real deal, big star on the rise. He's coming up, and I can't wait to see him. He's one of my favorite all-time students, and he's awesome, you guys, and he's truly, like, I don't know, so talented. There he is. Let me try to send a rain. So anyway, hope everybody's okay. We had some snow here today on the East Coast. Nick,
Hey, how's it going?
what's up? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. You know what? I miss you.
I
miss
miss you so
seeing
much.
you.
It's been a really long time.
It's ridiculous. I mean,
Crazy.
it's too long, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But at least I get to see you on Instagram. You have a nice big following on Instagram. I want to talk to you about that today.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, sure. Awesome.
So, guys, I just want to tell you a little bit about Nick. For those of you that don't know, Nick is the most amazing. He's not a triple threat. He's a quintuplet threat. He's an actor. He's a singer. He's a dancer. He's a songwriter. He writes his own original music. He plays the piano amazingly and accompanies himself. He's fabulous. So, Nick. Nick has starred in a lot of our shows, right, Nick? So
yes, I
what
have.
are some of the shows you starred in at a Class Act New York?
First one was we did a read through of Psy Kids. That was the first thing that we did ever.
Yes. Original musical by Bobby Cronin. Very cool. Yep.
Yeah, and I think the first big production main stage I did with you guys was a Drowsy Chaperone.
And yep, and you played Adolfo. You were
Adolfo. Yes.
Yes.
I still embody that role. I do that all the time.
So perfect.
Yeah.
And what was the and then you played, continue. Do you remember?
Gomez Adams.
Yes. Amazing performance.
Awesome.
And well, there's another, isn't there? Isn't there another one that there was another one.
I was Mike in the chorus line. That was a great one too. One of my favorite shows of all time. So that was a great experience.
You were so fantastic. I mean, that was the perfect role for you too. I mean, all of these roles were perfect for you, like literally perfect for you. But you were able to show off your dancing skills, your acting, your singing in that role. Like, it was amazing. And then you were set to play Billy Flynn in Chicago, but then COVID happened.
Yes, COVID did happen.
Come on.
What a travesty, right?
So not cool. But we're going to get you back on that stage, Nick. I'm hoping either maybe this summer if things work out or in the fall. I want you to be Billy Flynn in Chicago. You need to do it.
Whenever it's happening, I'll be there.
I need you. And Nick has participated in many of our cabarets where he debuted some of his original songs, which is also super cool because we got to hear them before the rest of the world gets to hear them. I think there's a big song that's coming out soon that you debuted at our cabaret.
I did. That's right, I did.
Can you tell us about that? Has it come out yet or not yet?
It hasn't come out yet. It's actually the next single. Actually, I'm here to announce everything about that. It's just for tonight. This is a really special song for me. This was the first song I ever did live. One of my original songs I did live, and it was at your cabaret, which was amazing to do. And
it was so fun.
Yeah, that was a great experience. And I'm so excited to release this song. It's a ballad.
When is it coming out, Nick? When can we expect it?
Mid-February. So
okay.
Middle of February. That's all I got now. I'll give it an exact release date later on my socials. But
so you got to follow Nick at Nick. Give me your social handle again.
Nick Valle Official.
Yes. So Nick, I mean, unbelievable. I loved that song back then. So I can't wait to see how it's evolved and maybe changed a little bit over time since you debuted it at our cabaret. I don't know if you've changed it at all.
The production has been amazing. Adding things to it and intertwining those has been crazy. Yeah.
It's so cool that you're able to still create work during COVID. Like, you're able to still go into the studio and create. Is that right? Am I just?
Well, no, I'm doing it all from home actually. Like, literally, I've recorded my vocals from home, all my instrumentation from home. Everything's been from home. Actually, we haven't seen each other once since we began this process.
That is so cool, but you're able to do it on such a professional level. Like, we're so grateful to have this amazing technology, right? To be able to continue to do what we love to do from a distance, you know?
Yeah, really.
It's pretty awesome. So Nick, I want to ask you some questions. Not only have you debuted, oh, you were also in our summer pre-professional programs for advanced actors, of course.
I love your programs. I've done so many, and I love them so much. Great
well,
classes.
We love having
everybody.
you.
Sign up.
So what? Say that one more time.
Everybody sign up. The great classes.
Oh, thank you. You're so cute. Well, I want to say this. I purposely had you go last in our pre-professional summer program, not this past summer because we couldn't be together in person, but the summer before. You played Billy Joel's Scenes from an Italian Restaurant on the piano, because that was from a Broadway musical, Moving Out. For those of you that might not know, I'm very old, so I know I saw it on Broadway. But Nick got to play that amazing song, you guys, if you don't know it, on the piano and rocked the house and brought the house down. So you closed out our show with an awesome rendition of that song.
I love that song.
So, is that the best song ever or what?
The best song ever written.
Ever. Can I ask you a question, Nick? Seriously, I always think of you as a young Billy Joel, truthfully. You both grew up on Long Island, right?
Yes.
You both have a very similar sensibility to me, and you're both songwriters who sing and who have big personalities, just really loving and warm, welcoming. Who are your inspirations? Who do you take inspiration from?
Oh, well, definitely Billy Joel has been one of the biggest inspirations to me. I related to him so much, just like everything about it, just like growing up in like a, average town and just being a songwriter and being able to convey my emotions through that and on the piano. But not only that, like so many people have inspired me, like older artists, like definitely Michael Jackson, huge one on me, that forever. Huge. One of the biggest inspirations. And then some more current people like a Shawn Mendes was really huge for me, and like Charlie Puth was really huge for me. Like those sort of people were really helped cultivate me. And I think every artist is a culmination of what they listened to when they were younger and what they listen, and as they evolve as artists, what they're listening to currently. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
absolutely.
Definitely and then there's a piece of myself where I was like, I've never heard this before. Let me throw that in there. And I think that's the beauty of it.
Totally. And I'm amazed by you because I don't know that many young, how old are you? Remind us how old you are.
15.
You're 15 now? Wow.
Now.
I mean, you've always acted and seemed like you were much older than your years. Like I never, when you were 12, you were like a 30-year-old. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like talking to a much older person. Your voice has always been more mature than I would say most other kids. Like you just had a more mature way about you. You're an old soul, for sure. But wow, you're 15 now. So now you're getting up there. You're catching up to me.
I'm getting old.
But I want to say how impressed I am because you're 15 years old, but your songwriting skills are amazing. Who helps you with this? Do songs just come to you? Like, how does it work for you as an artist? Do you just hear a song when you're, brushing your teeth or, doing homework? When do songs come to you?
Oh, well, I feel like in a lot of interviews, everybody always says like, it's whenever inspiration strikes to me, you know what I mean? I feel like there's got to be some, not a structure, I don't want to say that, but like I write songs when it's not when I'm necessarily like I have to have this creative thing that just strikes down upon me. And like if I feel like writing about something, I'm gonna write about something. Sometimes it's random and I'll imagine it, and then sometimes I'll draw from my experience, and sometimes it's both. Sometimes I'll take something from my life and I'll be like, okay, well, I gotta up the stake, and as they say in acting school, rise the stakes.
Right, raise the stakes, yeah.
It's not like as exciting, so it's like I have to add a little bit of drama to it, and that's kind of what I do as far as songwriting goes. So. And
the tune and the melody, does that just like come to you one day? Like, how does that work? I mean, how does it come to you?
Well, as far as writing goes, I would say how I start a song is very random. Like sometimes I'll start with like an instrumentation, or maybe I'll start with a melody, or maybe I'll start with lyric idea. But whatever it is, sometimes it's random and sometimes it's not. It's honestly a random process, but at the same time, it's not. It's weird to convey, but it's definitely.
Do you fiddle around on the piano and go, what would sound good? What notes sound good together, or how do you do that? I know nothing about writing music at all. How do you do that? I mean, I don't understand. These songs are so sophisticated for someone your age. They're really awesome. So I'm always like, how did this come to him?
Well, Yeah, there's so much inspiration. There's so much, like, as far as melody goes, I do not get technical with melodies. I write the melodies that come to me. As instrumentation goes, or like chords or stuff, or like lyrics, English class, of course, has been like great for that. But like music class has been great for like, there's so much music theory that I think goes into it, that what you get to a certain point where it's like, I forget who said this, but you get to a certain point in music theory where it's like, okay, now I know this stuff. Now I'm going to throw it away. And now what I know, I'm not going to be technical about it in my head. I'm just going to write something. And yeah, I know what I'm doing, but I'm not going to think, well, now I'm going to play this. You know what I mean? It's just like, I know what I'm going. I think Billy Joel said that, something like that along those lines.
Possible. Wait a second. This whole thing about music theory. I went to the University of Michigan when I was a much younger person. And I started out in the musical theater BFA program, and I had to take music theory. Now, let me tell you, I think they just passed me to be nice. I had no idea what was going, because I'm not good at math. Are you good at math?
Yes, sometimes... I'm good at math. Yes.
Okay, those two things, music and math, they seem to go together. I'm terrible at math, so I was like, what are they talking about? But you like music theory. That's a very tough subject.
I really like it. At a certain point, I think it starts to get a little too technical, but like, I definitely do. I love so many aspects of it, and it's great. You know?
That's so cool. That's great that you're able to do all of these different things. You know, you're an artist, but you also have that mathematical component too, which is really interesting, because a lot of artists don't have that component. So I wanted to tell you another couple of things about Nick. Not only is he a Billy Joel, Shawn Mendes protege, but he's his own person. And some of these songs, Nick, the one you just released that recently, right?
Yeah.
Love it. What's Your Number? Another great song. And the one that's coming out soon, which we won't give the name away. But now when it comes to the lyrics, are you writing the lyrics of these songs? Or do you have a person help you with the lyrics? Like somebody collaborate?
As far as songwriting goes, 98% of the time, I write everything on my own. That's how most of it, like, I just wrote like a bunch of songs, like for everything that's about to happen, an EP, another EP, and then those two becoming an album blended into one. That music was a collection of music that I kind of intertwined with one another, and was like, okay, this matches with this style. And it's like, I'm still going to use that stuff, but right now I'm going to use this music and record this music. So yeah, I write everything myself. I'm working on
the lyrics.
I'm working on a couple projects. I'm working on something in the work right now with a group of 3 people who are in LA. I've been zooming in with them, and we're recording something which is going to be one of the singles later on, which I'll let people know about that. But besides that, and another song that I did, I really write most of the stuff myself. So yeah.
Awesome. My gosh. Tell me, Nick, I'm impressed. I really am. Tell me, Nick, I've always been impressed with you. I just think it's incredible that you have so many gifts. And you have a great mom and a great dad, and your mom has always been such a great supporter of yours. Hi, Nicole.
Yes.
A shout out to Nicole.
Oh my God, so much. You have no idea. Like, especially now in quarantine, it's been like trying to like keep those creative. Like, she's like been a great motivator of like, you know, because trying to get me to learn and like better myself and improve myself. And it's like, well, if you do this, then like if I'm saying I want something, well, you know, you learn this, and then we'll get to, I want a new guitar. Well, we learn this with this course, and then, you know, we get a new guitar. And it's like really my main source of motivation and drive, and we're the dream team. You know, me and her, we're a dynamic duo, as my dad puts it. And I'm very grateful for her. You know,
you're very lucky to have a mom who's savvy and understands the business, but also understands how to get the best out of you, the performer. And she realized your gift. When did you start acting and singing and performing, Nick? When did you get into this whole field?
Thank God for theater. That's what I'm gonna say, because my first ever show was a community theater show at 9 years old. Saw a flyer in the mail, and I was like, you know, I asked my mom, I said, I want to try out for this. And again, my motivation was like, then I was like, because she could see I really wanted to do, because I was always musical. Like I said, like my first experience with music was seeing, like I said before, my inspiration, watching Michael Jackson perform Motown 20, you know, Billie Jean, when he performed it for the first time. That, I was 4 years old, and I saw that, and I was like, that's what I want to do with my life. And I I was like, you know, I was 4, so it was like not super like that's what I'm gonna do. But you know, I would be in my room dancing with the stereo on with the CD, and I just tried out for the musical one day, and my mom always knew I was musical. She's like, yeah, you want to try out? I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna sing Happy Birthday or whatever. She's like, well, if you don't want to regret that if you don't get, because I was like, I want to be Willy Wonka. Well, if you want to, you know, do that, you have to, you know, put a little effort into it. And
Right.
you don't want to regret, like, oh, what if I didn't do? So we spent the weekend, and all weekend, my mom helped me prepare for that audition. I was so nervous. I was like,
This is your first audition.
my eyes closed the entire time. But I got the role. I got Willy Wonka, and I gotta say that was one of the greatest experiences of my life, and that just propelled me straight forward to everything that just set me on a real path for acting and theater. And I did a lot of community theater after that. Eventually, I got over with you guys at the class act, and I started doing productions.
Doing it off Broadway.
Yeah.
Yes, that was cool.
Oh yeah.
Off Broadway, baby. Hopefully, we'll be back soon. But that was so. Nick, so you were bitten by the bug by watching Michael Jackson on TV at age 4, and then you're like, I want to be in this show, and then you get the lead. Not everybody can say that the first audition they go on, they get the lead.
I was very fortunate. I'm
very fortunate.
Yeah.
But also, you know, I think it took work, you know, and talent. There's a natural talent, and then the hard work that you put in equaled the success, you know, equals your success, right? What kind of advice do you have for young performers out there, Nick? You know, who maybe want to become singer-songwriters or actors, singers, dancers like yourself. What advice do you have for young performers?
I would say my biggest advice would probably be to keep learning, keep growing, and remember it's a journey. You need to enjoy each moment of it and persevere through it. Because it is worth it, and you do get to places that feel so good, and like getting into off-Broadway or having your first release, you know, it's these special things that you have to work for, and you need to study and persevere, you know, and that's what's most important.
How do you deal, Nick, with, let's say, okay, I'm sure in your life, maybe you went for a role, and I mean, I don't know if this has happened to you yet, but maybe perhaps you didn't get the role that you were dying to get, right? So how do you deal with rejection in this business? Being that, you know, it is a part of the business, right?
Yes, big one. Yes, especially in the film industry, it's like crazy how many auditions I've been on.
Right.
Insane.
And it just has to be that right one job. But until you get to that right one job, you know, there's going to be some no's along the way. Yeah. But how do you deal with that, Nick? How do you deal with, let's say, disappointment, or, you know, I don't like to call it rejection. I just think it's, you know, the right job will come along for you. But how do you deal with that in the moment? Because look, we've all been there. I mean, anyone who's ever been an actor has been there, right? I mean, there's a role you're just dying to get, and maybe you don't get exactly what you thought or what you wanted. So how do you deal with that, Nick?
I would definitely say the best way to handle that is I like to think of auditions, and maybe this is like a weird technique or something, not strange, but like when I audition, I kind of learned this method a while ago of auditioning and then forget about it. Because if it comes back to you, then you have it, but like you need to just keep, you know, getting out there and doing these auditions. And I think the best thing to do is to forget about it, honestly, because if you're like, I need to get this job, I need to get this my entire life, it can be really dangerous. And when I was younger, I did not know that. And it gets pretty scary. So you definitely need to, you know, stay calm about that.
Just do your best, give it your all, and then just say like, okay, moving on to the next thing, and we'll see what happens. Exactly. That's a skill to learn, I think, because like that's a hard one for a young person to understand, you know? But the people, I guess the real professionals, the kids who maybe aren't meant to be professional, they get weeded out because they can't deal with that. It hurts them too deeply. So they realize maybe this isn't the right career path for me. But for somebody like you, you're like, you understand it's part of the game and it's part of the business, and you got to keep going, you know? Yeah. But luckily with us, you've always played lead roles, so it's been pretty good for, you know, on this side of things. But Nick, you have an amazing, strong voice. You've always had a really strong singing voice. You even had a very mature voice as a young person. Yes. How do you keep your voice? Do you hear me okay, Nick? I can hear you.
Yeah, I hear you. Do you hear me? Great.
Okay, I hear myself back, but I don't know. So Nick, tell me, how do you keep your voice healthy and strong and in good shape?
I would say a huge part of staying in shape and, being is vocal exercising every single day. I have my, set of warm ups and warm downs and all those little things. Staying hydrated. I can't even tell you. I probably drink like a gallon of water a day. I'm not kidding. Like that's like a real estimate right there.
That's good.
And I would also say, resting when you're off, laying easy on the vocal cords and, shouting is pretty bad.
Right.
Also, just regular physical health too really plays a big role, like eating well and exercising. Like that's a huge part of everything too.
So it's
A
almost like
lot
you're
of,
an athlete, right? You have to stay in shape.
a lot of people don't realize that physical health is a huge part of it, and it
Hmm.
really is. Because when you
So
get sick, your voice gets sick, and
that's a
it
great
sucks.
point. So when you get a cold or anything, so Nick, what do you do as a physical do you work out? What is your regimen?
Well, I dance a lot. I do a lot of tap dance and regular dancing. But yeah, not as much lately. I've been kind of busy, with the routine. But
Tell me, what are you busy
usually
with?
sometimes in the summer. Usually, like it's a summer thing for me. Usually, I
Mhm.
have like this select videos on like YouTube that I go to where I found things that are real and not like abs in 10 days, But it's like if you want to train your body and really like certain like core exercises and leg exercises and just some good fundamental stuff that you could learn in like dance exercise, certain stuff or just like regular workout. But like little stuff like that, I try to vary it up too so my body doesn't get used to the same thing. But like
Right.
yeah, but it's definitely been it's good. Yeah.
All
And
right.
it's tough sometimes to
What have you
schedule.
been busy like throughout this whole pandemic? I know that you're homeschooled, right? So that you can
Yeah.
follow your dream, which is awesome. Parents are so cool to let you do all of that. Now, like what's a typical day for Nick like? What do you do when you wait? Like what's a typical day for a kid who's homeschooled focusing on his dream?
Typical day is probably wake up, go right in the shower, maybe have like breakfast or not right then and there, or like so I'll go to school on my computer for a couple hours a day.
Mhm.
Um, Drinking water along the way. I like to have a water bottle every like 45 minutes. Like that's my mentality right there. Look at the clock. Is it 45 minutes yet?
Oh wow, no way.
Yeah, I love
That's
water. I don't know. It's something to me
I
about.
drink a ton of water too. I always have it. I'm going to be blamed for the water shortage if there ever is one because I drink so much water. But
Me too.
yeah,
Me too.
it's good for you though, right?
Oh yeah.
So you drink. You're regimented about drinking water. You wake
Yeah.
up. You go to school. How many hours a day do you do online school?
Well, the best part about online is that it varies and that you can kind of choose your schedule. Sometimes I'll do it later in the day, like if I have something in the morning or like a session where it's like we're gonna record something, but we only have 12 to 3. Well, I can move over school because it's not stick to the
Regimented,
schedule.
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
But definitely like 2 to 3 hours a day. That's a typical day though. Like in the
Mm-hmm.
morning from like I don't know, 10 to like 1 maybe or like 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, usually what I'll do is I'll do like my voice at that point. I'll warm up my voice at that point, maybe earlier in the day. It depends on the day. If I'm going to record something that day, maybe I'll do it like right in the morning. If it's a slow day, I'll wait till then to warm up my voice. Still want to do it, but it doesn't have to be like,
Right.
got to do this right now.
Right.
And then I'll, practice my piano, do my guitar exercises, which I picked up in quarantine.
Oh.
It's been fun. I really love it. Um,
So
and
are we gonna get to see you play the guitar on some of these original songs that you're doing?
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. Yeah.
So cool. And what about, okay, so I know you collaborate sometimes with friends, with other talented, Broadway kids. Um, do you wrote an amazing song with Chloe Wheeler.
Oh
What's
wow.
the name of that song again?
Within my dreams. That was wow. That was a while ago. Yeah.
So good. Everybody needs
Yes.
to go to YouTube and watch that because it's incredible. She kind of has a very deep and rich voice. Like she's
Yes.
also an incredibly talented person,
Yes.
and so you guys collaborated on that. She wrote the lyrics, it said, and you wrote the music.
Yes. So I could tell you, we got together. We met for the first time the day we wrote that song.
What?
Isn't that crazy? So yeah, she wrote like a series of a poem with a bunch of different stanzas, And it was a beautiful, beautiful poem. So I took it and I reconstructed it and, you know, put it in a way that made sense lyrically in the song. And I wrote the melody to it and the basic chord structure. And then another person, Andrew, came in and did some of the instrumentation with me, like the guitar, trial, bass, and, you know, things like that.
Right.
And we recorded the demo of that song in the first day, probably 5 hours. And then the next 2 days we did like the full production of it and we recorded it. And that song, I was really young. I was like 12 or something. I wasn't there for the mix and master of that song, but like, I definitely love it listening back to it now. It's a nice little timestamp of where I was then, you know?
I think it's really good. I think you should re-release that sometime soon.
Yeah,
I think it's amazing. Yeah.
Maybe I'll solo record it or, you know, whatever.
Think about that one.
Yeah.
And then you did something recently with Kaylin Hedges, a Broadway kid.
Mm-hmm.
So how do these things come up? You just like call each other up and say, let's do a Christmas song together, or what? How does that work?
We're all in like these Instagram group chats and or text group chats. So sometimes like I have everybody's number, and if I see a song I really like, I'll be like, hey, you want to collaborate on this? I'm like, yeah, we'll record it. That was interesting because nowadays, like, what I'm really getting into is like production, which is something people might not really know about me, but right now I'm really fascinated by like a Pro Tools or Logic and like recording my music and doing all the technical aspect of it. And I'm getting another course. My mom, you know, was like, do you want to try this? Because I was talking about it. Wow. And, you know, it's been great. And that was something where I was like, well, I'm doing this now. So she sent me the vocal and, you know, mixed that.
She sent you a video and then you edited it together to make it look like you were together in the same room, even though you were in different places, right?
And that was a nice little Christmas thing that we did together. That was great. I
thought that was really wonderful too. And I love how so do you also know how to do video editing? Who did the video aspect?
Oh, so I did the original video editing and then she did like the little fine tune. She's better at the video editing than I am because I haven't taken any kind of course on that. So I did all the audio and she did all the visual. And
I think you're pretty busy though, doing a lot of it. Sounds like you're doing a lot of stuff over there.
Yeah.
Let somebody else take a little bit off your plate for a minute.
Yeah.
What's it like being a teenager in the music industry, Nick?
I would say I love it. Like, it's just who I am personally in my bones. So, and it's interesting being like a teenager in the music industry. I would say I'm trying to find the right way to describe it here, but I wouldn't say for me personally, I really love every moment of it and being able to grow up and be able to know what my life is going to be like, what I'm going to do with my life, no matter what is going to be this. And knowing that at my age is a blessing, you know? And that, I think that's part of it. Definitely. That's a huge, great feeling.
And then it also probably motivates you to keep learning so that you can be on that professional level with that, you know, when you get to that point.
Yeah.
It's awesome. What tips do you have for kids and teens or even adults? Because literally your songs sound like they were written by an adult, not a teenager. What tips do you have for people who want to make music professionally?
People who want to make music
or who want to break into the music industry professionally. What tips do you have?
I would definitely say for me, it was like, I would say my number one thing was something I wish I knew a while ago was like, it's not about being discovered, it's about becoming. That's a huge thing for me because especially when you're younger and you're a kid, you think, well, I'm just going to be discovered. Someone's going to see me and that's it. That can be detrimental because if you're not ready for that, if you don't know enough and you're not prepared for that, there's so many cases of that in the music industry. Young kids who were brought into it way too early on in their life. They were not ready for that and they went down dark paths. And it can be really tough, you know? And that's something I think is very important to learn. Something was very important for me to learn. It's just about being ready to learn and take time. It's a journey. That you really need to enjoy each piece. So when you get there, you know why you're there. You don't want to start and finish at the same exact time. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm not sure if anybody saw the movie Soul.
Okay.
It just came out on Disney.
I did not, but
where he plays, I don't want to spoil the end, but he spends his whole life trying to get to a certain point, and he does it, and he's like, that was it.
Right.
And it was like, because he never is focused on anything else on his life or any other point of the journey except getting there and thinking about that.
Getting to the fame or getting to the moment of recognition, and then
so that I think that is my advice: is enjoy it while it lasts.
And you have to love the craft because and creating. And if you're just going for fame, right, Nick, or if you're too young and you become famous really young, then it's possible that you might be one of those one-hit wonders or someone that winds up going down a bad path, because there's a lot of weird temptations out there in the world. So I think you're right. Staying grounded, I think, is what you're also talking about. Staying grounded in yourself. And I think that's a really good lesson for young people out there, or for anyone, artists in their 20s who become famous too quickly and don't know how to handle it. They wind up going down those bad paths that you were talking about. Nick, do you ever have any desire to go back to the stage? I mean, once the stage opens up again, or are you really focused just on the music industry, or do you want to focus on, tell me what your dreams are, what your goals are?
I laugh. So you know me, how I laugh right up on a stage. You know that this has been one of the strangest, one of the most weirdest experiences, because I miss being able to perform in front of a live audience. Honestly, the music industry for me is the best part, is going to be, now that I have these released songs, is going to be able to tour and play these on stage and doing concerts. Like, that's everything to me. That's why I love Broadway theater. That's why I love concerts. That's why I love anything, because it's being on a stage and performing in front of, there's something about that when the lights come up, whether it's in film, when you're in that moment, there's just something magical about that. Than like being in your house and just filming a video on your iPhone. You know what I mean? It's just something so different. That you
like the interaction with the audience and the feedback from the audience, right?
Yes, 100%.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. You definitely come alive when the lights, shine on you. You're magnetic, truly. You definitely are very magnetic on stage. So I could see that you would miss that a bit. But this is a great time probably to hone your skills and to learn your craft and to really study. And you can still be creative, but it's a little different because you don't have that instant feedback from the audience that you're used to having, right?
Yeah, definitely. I would say. Still enjoying it, but it's just,
thankfully you're still young.
It's missing, and I'm going to have it again real soon. Hopefully.
Absolutely. This vaccine. Oh, we're freezing up. Oh, you froze for a second, but then you're back.
All right.
But do you hear me? You don't hear me?
I hear you well.
You do? I hear myself back. It's so annoying. Anyway, so, all right, we're excited for your next. Now, talk to me about something that's very important for performers out there. You have a big following on Instagram. You have 30,000, over 30,000 people. A, how did you build that?
Okay.
B, what advice do you have for performers out there? How do you handle your social media?
Okay. So I would say definitely building it was a little while ago. I would say Instagram's changed a lot in the last 2 years, I have to say, especially.
I'm new to it, so tell me what's changed.
So Instagram, just like the way that things run and how you get rewarded and how Instagram itself promotes you has changed a lot, and when to post and how to post, and that changes all the time now. It's become like Facebook. Like Facebook was easy at one point, and now it's impossible to get anywhere on there. Instagram was easy at one point. Now it's really hard to get anywhere on Instagram. It's not impossible, but it's really hard.
Are you on TikTok?
I was behind on the TikTok trend. I'm behind on a lot of trends. Like, I saw this thing recently where they said only a couple more days before my mom asked me about that photo we've all seen already. And that's me. I'm like the mom that asked, have you seen that? It's like, yeah, we all did a week ago. Because I'm busy creating and learning, and it's hard to. But as far as my social media goes, how I built that was really, I had a lot more, I guess, gotta say, before quarantine, I guess, consistency posting.
Right.
And there's a little bit of promotion in there, but overall, it's definitely about reaching and knowing where to target, and learning that and studying who's listening to what and knowing where to promote to certain places. That's a huge part of it. Now
I
it's
could
more
learn a
of a
thing
cover.
or two about this because I know not. It's not my thing at all. So I'm
Mm.
like, I just post things. I'm like, hey, what about this? That's about it.
Yeah, yeah, but it's really rough, nowadays, because now it's like really you have to know exactly what's going on. The programmers and Instagram company, what we're gonna decide this week the algorithm is. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
it's very confusing nowadays. But I gotta say, I built it at a very much simpler time on
Right.
Instagram, so I'm grateful for that. I haven't been able to post as much because of quarantine, and you would think
Right.
I would be, more on my phone, but
Huh.
less. I've been working
Interesting.
more, I think, in quarantine than ever before.
Working in terms of on your craft and on your music and on your.
Yes. I
Mhm.
think because I've had more time for it, honestly.
Right.
Everything's not being subdivided. It's like
Right.
I have more structured times. Like I'm going to utilize this while I have it. You know what I
So
mean? And
smart.
that's my advice too, is being consistent with your posting,
Hmm.
and researching when, seeing what your audience is and knowing who to target.
And what do you do about like negativity on social media, or how do you handle? There. Look, we have to be honest. I mean, there's certain people who are going to be negative behind. When they can hide behind a screen and they can say
Hmm.
whatever they want anonymously, basically, or it's from a fake account or something.
Yeah, of course.
So, how do you deal with that? And what's your advice to young people who are, maybe trying to think about starting an Instagram page or some sort of social media presence?
Okay, so for me, I would say it's really like, especially for myself, I would have to say it's kind of strange in a way. Like again, like you said, I'm kind of like an old soul kind of person,
Yes.
where social media isn't a fundamental part of my life, and it is
Right.
for many teenagers,
Yes.
where it isn't for me. So like, if somebody says something, I'm like, who cares? Like, I have
Right.
my life. But like, I would say for people that it really does, I think the best way to do is don't give those people attention. Even if it,
Mhm.
like, please don't let them know that it bothers you, especially on social media, because that's where things go wrong, and it can really, escalate to the point where people like that want attention. If you don't give them attention, they lost already. So, if that's the same
I
thing with
love that advice.
any kind of person that's negative like that, you don't give them attention. That's the best way to beat them at their own game. And not playing
I
a
love
game,
that.
but like that's the best way to just like have them lose their own
Yeah.
game. That
Right.
yeah,
Right. They're gonna bury themselves. Right.
exactly.
They're gonna prove themselves to be
A
just
troll.
not cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerk. I love that. I think that's really great advice. That's a great advice. How are you so wise at your age? Can you please explain that to me?
Back in my day,
You
we
know so
listened to
much.
CDs.
Listen, Nick, no, seriously, your songs also, I was thinking about this earlier. Your songs are about themes that I don't know if you've experienced some of it yet. You know what I mean? Do
Yeah.
you put yourself in a situation of like, oh, if I was in my 20s and I had a relationship and it broke up,
Yeah.
or
No,
do you
no,
write
yeah.
about things that you know or that
Yes.
you've experienced?
Yes. Both.
Both.
Sometimes, again, like I said before, sometimes at the same time. Like sometimes it'll be like, well, I'm going through this, but like the stakes would be higher if I was 20 or if I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it's like, what now let's put a little bit more of older feeling in here, on top of this teenage, whatever it is, on top of it.
Right, the teenage angst mixed with but you have to have a good set, like you have to be good at imagining what something might feel like, even though you may have never experienced it yourself.
I feel like
You
I
know,
was always
that's
a story. Yeah, I feel like I was always a storyteller. Like when I was younger, I always used to write like little books or like novels and stuff. And like now I'm
Mhm.
like really into like not even songwriting, just like regular writing, like script writing or something is also something I really like to do, which is something I'm gonna pursue maybe later on in my life. But like,
What don't you do? Can you
I mean,
tell me
everything I
something you
do.
don't do?
But that's
What's
something I enjoy. What
something
don't
you
I do?
enjoy? What
What
don't
don't,
you do?
mm,
What is something you don't? Okay, give me what. No, listen, that's amazing. You're writing scripts too. I think you're honing all of your skills. So a lot to you, they can glean a lot of really important information from you from this interview, where they should be working on
yeah,
all of these different things,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
So cool, Nick. So you're writing scripts.
I'm sorry, you froze out for a
Oh, I'm
second.
sorry. You're writing scripts. Can you hear me now?
Oh yes.
I think people, the
Yes, I
young
can.
people, I don't know, the connection's a little funky, but can you hear me now, Nick? No? Yes? Good? Bad?
A little bit. It's going in and
Oh,
out. Going in and
oh,
out.
come on. Oh, I can't believe that.
Wait, you're back.
Can you
You're
hear?
back. You settled. You settled.
Yay! All right.
Okay,
I was just saying
let's
that
just jump on it.
I'm saying that people, oh, I see that I'm very delayed here. My mouth is not moving at the same time as my words. I was just going to say that people can learn a lot from your example, how to like study script writing and songwriting and being a dancer and a singer and an actor and, music theory. I mean, there's a lot that you do. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
do.
love it.
I don't
Nick,
play sports.
don't play, but that's the one thing you don't do?
Yeah, no.
All
I
right.
tried that. I was okay at basketball, but like I was no, star.
Some famous.
That's not where I belonged.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So anyway, Nick, I think this is so awesome. You're up to some really, really cool things. I wanted to ask you, I mean, I see that you've been able to keep your creative juices flowing throughout this pandemic, which is awesome. And I'm just so excited to see what is coming up for you. Do you have any exciting projects on the horizon, Nick, that you can tell us about or that you can't tell us about?
So many. Oh my God. I gotta say, well, I got my song that's coming out soon, and then that other project I told you about, and just more music that keeps flowing from over here, which will be, later announced, and we're working on a bunch of stuff currently. Acting wise, I did get this voiceover with a really big company. You might be able to pinpoint if I'm not allowed to confirm or deny that it's me, so don't ask me because I would not be allowed to tell you that.
Right.
But it was a really great opportunity. I did it from home.
Wow.
It's been weird. It's been fun. Source Connect is like a dinosaur, so like trying to figure that out. I had to watch like 20 YouTube tutorials on how to use Source Connect, but it was fun, and I really enjoyed doing the project. It was something I really liked,
And once it comes out, it'll be super exciting because then you'll hear your voice and you'll see how it all comes together.
What's funny is it's been on TV during sports games, but I'm not allowed to confirm what it is yet for some reason. The industry is strange sometimes,
Yes. Well, I can't wait
Yeah.
because we'll definitely announce it. So let me know when I can.
All right.
Well, anyway, Nick, I'm just amazed once again at you and at everything you're up to. And we miss seeing you in person and
Yes.
having you perform on our stages and on the cabarets and the shows.
Well, I do need to say that
Yeah.
I did love taking your virtual classes, which would help me a lot. Book that voiceover gig, and it was your Sean Patrick Doyle class. That was a great class. So shout out to him. That was an amazing
Shout out to
class.
Sean Patrick Doyle.
Great program.
He's a wonderful, wonderful instructor, a wonderful voiceover performer himself. And he teaches a lot of he's literally a Broadway, TV, film, and voiceover actor. He's like Nick, he does everything. So we're so lucky to have him as a teacher. And I'm so glad you could be a part of that and you booked that job. That's awesome. So let us know when it's safe to announce. But Nick, keep up keep your creative juices flowing. Keep doing what you're doing because it seems like you're up to some awesome things. And I love the music. Love it. Can you hear me?
Awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I can hear you.
Okay.
You're delayed, but I can hear you.
Well, send love to mom, to dad, to you, of course. And, we'll see you again, hopefully soon in person, if not online.
Yep, definitely. 100%.
All right, babe.
All right.
Love you. Miss you.
Bye.
Bye, hun.
Bye.
See ya. Bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye.